I focus on helping soulful entrepreneurs who are feeling like they're ready to fully step into their true metamorphosis and get out there and pollinate. Even more important than a marketing strategy is just being really certain about what you bring to the world. Like understanding your own flavor and understanding what makes you different. There is something divine that will catch you and will lift you up when you go and decide that you want to be wholehearted about everything that you do in your life. It's great for the visuals, it's great for the words on your website, but the most important piece of it is it's good for you because you all of a sudden have this mirror and this foundational understanding of I'm special.
Welcome to the Ascension Podcast. I have a very special guest for you today, Leigh Maneri. How are you today?
I'm doing really well. I love that we did this impromptu, do you want to be on a podcast today? And I was like, yeah, okay, let's do it.
Well, you come incredibly highly endorsed by John Morrow, dear brother of mine, and the way that he's the vision sower, taking so much from the imagination, I hear that you can actually translate the soul into a digital medium.
Yeah. I am a brand strategist, if you can call it that, and I focus on helping soulful entrepreneurs who are feeling like they're ready to fully step into their true metamorphosis and get out there and pollinate and bring their gifts to the world. I help them step into how to translate their essence and their soul to the digital medium with visuals and with words, and yeah, it's a beautiful journey.
Yes, absolutely critical. We all have unique abilities in different areas, and to be able to hone in on somebody's unique aspects, how it is that they show up in service in the world is absolutely incredible. So what is it that inspires you with, really translating what you see, where I might not be able to see and translate for myself, right? But you're able to actually pierce into my soul and translate that.
Yeah. I think it's always been kind of a natural talent that I've had to see people. And, we were talking a little bit before about how I didn't have a very strong identity when I was a kid. I was very much interested in creating peace in my environment. And I know that can be common if you've had a, tumultuous household or a relationship in the household that wasn't going well. It can be natural for a kid to kind of just make themselves small or to shape themselves in a way that makes everybody else more calm. And so I think coming from that point, I was very interested in being this sort of chameleon and just fitting in and meshing my behavior to whatever the room was. And so I became, even though I had really kind of porous edges, I could read people really easily. And I've also always had this knack for wanting to get to the nature of people. And I have a very kind of open aura, I think, where people tend to bring their deep, dark stuff to me, which feels like such an honor. And it also is very comforting to me to hear other people's kind of inner worlds and what's happening for them. And so, those kind of different gifts came together. And when I started working in creative agencies, I recognized that I had this ability to listen to my clients and to translate what they were saying into a more condensed, wow, you really got to the soul of what we are and how we're different and what we really do here. So while that wasn't always for companies that I was very passionate about, it definitely got, as my career went on, I got to work on more projects that I really wanted to work on. And then last year, I ended up making the leap and just working with solo entrepreneurs. And yeah, it's
Do you spell it S-O-U-L-O?
I don't. I love that. I don't, though. But yeah, it's been, I didn't really know I was going to do that, but it just was a natural shift. That's kind of the world that I was in. And it's been so beautiful to step into that world and to work with individuals rather than working with these bigger entities. So yeah, it's been amazing.
Amazing. So what gave you the courage to actually break away from the agency that's provided so much certainty and, maybe not full alignment, but certainty?
Yeah, I mean, I was there for 8 years, and the one before that, I was there for 3 years. So I'm definitely like a loyalist. Like, if I love the people that I'm working with, I will just stick around. And I was reading, David Whyte is one of my favorite authors, and I was reading his book, which is called The Heart Aroused. And it's all about how we can bring soul back into corporate America, which is really interesting because he's like this very soulful poet. And so he talks about the workspace and how we can kind of all of a sudden wake up in this, like, the dark woods of our life and say, like, look around and say, is this really what I want for my life? And I think that I had a few of those moments where I felt like there was just something calling me deeper and there was more to explore. And I felt like I was hitting a bit of a ceiling in terms of my own growth. And yeah, it just felt like, okay, it's time to do something really scary and just get out there and figure it out. And it was really scary, like not having the certainty, like you said, and not having the salary. Like, it's really it's an exercise in self-trust. Like, can I trust myself enough to deliver and to support myself and to follow through with my goals? And so, yeah.
Amazing. Did you have clients already lined up?
I didn't. I had one conversation with a naturopathic doctor. I was living in San Diego at the time. Now I'm in Austin. But I had one conversation and told her what I was doing, and she was like, I want that. Like, I didn't know I needed that, which is a lot of what I hear from the people I work with. Like, I didn't know I needed this, but this is exactly what I needed. And so she was all in, and she was my first client where I got to kind of like beta test what I had been doing at the agency, but then putting my own spin on it and really focusing on individual identity rather than company identity. So yeah, that was my first client. And from there, it's totally, I mean, our mutual friends, Austin and Jillian, have been like very expansive for me because I worked with them. And then from there, they started talking about me. And it's just been this big web of referrals that's been really beautiful. Yeah.
Well, that's amazing because you're showing up with so much support that it wasn't known to be needed before. That's such an interesting frame. I didn't know that I needed this. And then the clarity that comes. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the brand process is not something that most people, especially if they're starting out on their entrepreneurial journey and they are wondering, they're seeing everything that everyone else is doing. They're seeing the strategies and they're seeing the webinars and they're seeing the courses and they know that there's a formula, but even more important than a marketing strategy is just being really certain about what you bring to the world. Like understanding your own flavor and understanding what makes you different. Like there's nothing more, like, yeah, it's great for the visuals. It's great for the words on your website. But the most important piece of it is it's good for you because you all of a sudden have this mirror and this foundational understanding of like, oh, like I'm special. Like I bring something really unique. And when you understand who you are, there is this kind of that provides this really strong foundation. And then all of a sudden you're able to open to what wants to come through you. And all of a sudden you have like all this motivation. So it's lovely to watch that process and to watch people go through that and to see themselves maybe clearly for, they've had bits and pieces, but when you're thinking about yourself, like it's hard to be objective and to get a real understanding of like truly how special you are.
That's so magical. It feels like turning down the physical mind, and all the stories that run on loop, and really tending to the garden and feeling into the heart. You're talking about and just beaming with just how unique all of us are and just what it is that causes us to shine. And so to me, it feels like that process that you're helping people to do is moving from the head down into the heart.
Yeah. My favorite quote is again by David Whyte. Clearly love him. And he says, the antidote to exhaustion isn't necessarily rest. The antidote to exhaustion is wholeheartedness. Like when you understand what's in your heart and you know what you want to create in the world, and you know your mission, you understand like your values and what's important to you and what's meaningful about how you're showing up in the world, everything else just gets so much easier. Like you just have this path that kind of opens to you because you're doing something wholeheartedly. Whereas a lot of people, when they're in their, a lot of entrepreneurs were at some point in a more trial and error period where they're working for a bigger company or in corporate or whatnot. And they can sense that half-heartedness, and it feels hard because you're constantly bumping up against your own resistance every day. And so being wholehearted in what you do, it's not always easy. It's not always available to everyone to do what I did and take the leap and trust that, I was going to be able to support myself. But I do feel like it's so worth it. And there is something that, there is something divine that will catch you and will lift you up when you go and decide that you want to be wholehearted about everything that you do in your life.
That's so beautiful. That's my same personal experience as well. I had all sorts of different retail businesses for 18 years.
Wow.
And it was unfulfilling. It was just, I would find ways to fall back in love with the business, a body jewelry business, for example. And so then it became about helping somebody to just find that sparkle, that shine. But it's not physical stuff that does it. And so more and more I was becoming an anti-salesman at my own business. Yeah. And so now it's the opposite, and I'm doing the exact same process, really cultivating my personal brand in those coaching offerings and how it is that I can show up in best service, right? Because there's a lot of gifts trapped within all of us, and that's where I think you do so good, is to help to unlock those gifts.
Yeah. I love that you mentioned the sales journey and how like you have identified when you started to recognize what you really wanted to do in the world. Like that's such a powerful thing for people to hear and to understand from you, that like you were, doing what you thought was going to be fulfilling for you. And then as you were going to sell something, you started seeing that it wasn't the actual thing that people needed in order to have that shine. So it's like, that's where you started to recognize that there was another thing that you could do, another way that you could serve that would feel more wholehearted for you. And now you're out there doing that, which is the coolest.
Thank you. And that's exactly why I do the podcast. It's just an excuse for us to drop in and have conversations and connection that's even deeper than we would have otherwise. And so my mission is always to activate one heart, to serve one person at a time. And guess what? By doing this, I'm already serving my own heart, hopefully serving yours. So the mission's already complete, and then we gift it to the world. Yeah.
I have this this kind of philosophy around pollinators, because when I was in San Diego, I used to, like, just by accident, I started kind of raising monarch butterflies because I would see them on the milkweed plant and I would want them to survive, and they're, they get exposed to parasites and whatnot. So you can make it more likely that they'll actually make it to the chrysalis stage. And I think that it's so interesting when you look at the metamorphosis of a butterfly. There's this, what they're becoming is an insect that goes out there and they deliver something to the world, And they also, in turn, they're continuing the cycle of reciprocity in it, right? Like they're going to go eat that nectar and they're going to lay their eggs, and there's something that they're giving back at the same time as they're being nourished. And same with bees. It's like they're going out there and they're pollinating and they're multiplying and amplifying this vitality in the world. And I think it's the same exact thing for humans, because when you're out there doing what you really care about and what feels most meaningful to you, you're also giving something to other people. And then they in turn are going to go do that for other people. And so there's this like pollinator effect of individuals who have recognized what they could do in service that would nourish them, but also nourish other people. And I think that's like the highest calling of humanity.
Mike, Rob. Aho.
Yeah.
It's so beautiful. To me, I like to think about it through brain and heart coherence, right? The mind being of math and division and separation. And yet it's what allows us to play in this dimension of 3D time, space, you know, and it thinks this body's the only thing that exists. And yet the heart, infinitely connected to you and every other life form and every energy that exists simultaneously. And so when they're actually in coherence and living life through the heart, then it's supported by the mind and everything is divine.
Yeah. I love that. There's that beautiful balance in the back and forth.
Yeah. Yeah. Because in the process of pollination, as you were describing, you know, there's something that we are giving. I like to think about the trees, you know, as we exhale, they inhale.
Yeah.
As they exhale, we inhale.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I mean,
beautiful.
it's the most sturdy blueprint we have of like how to live a good life, or a life that is right. Like that's the closest thing that nature can give us to like, here's the blueprint, you know, and there's a lot of doctrines and a lot of beliefs around spirituality and life purpose and dharma and all of that. And I soak up all of them and I love all of them and I hold them, you know, very gently without attachment. But nature, it's like, it's right there in front of us, you know, like to me, nature is like the cleanest blueprint to how to live a good life. And that is that reciprocity. Like if you are doing something that feeds the world and creates more vitality around you, and it's also feeding yourself, like I just think that naturally that is a recipe for like happiness isn't the right word, but satisfaction, like the knowing that you're like living a good life. I think reciprocity is like a really good path to that.
Yeah. Satisfaction, fulfillment.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's definitely the beauty way.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's a really interesting thing that I noticed about the monarch caterpillars is that like when they're at a young stage, sometimes you'll see them walking away from the milkweed plant, but like milkweed is all they can eat. Like you can give them some things, but it's not going to nourish them. It's not going to make them most likely that they're going to metamorphose. So when you see one of them walking away from the plant, you're like, what are you doing? Like this is your mother plant. Like you need this. And I think that humans do that too. Like when we are in that trial and error period of our lives where we're going out there and we're trying different things, like that's beautiful. But when you're following someone else's path for you, I feel like it's kind of the equivalent of walking away from that mother plant. And to me, the way to counteract that, like if you feel like you're not close to living what you're here to do as a human, then I think the best thing you can do is to find your way back to your mother plant, which is basically the process of coming home to yourself and looking at like, what have you always been good at? Like what are you enthusiastic about? Like what is your, what totally lights you up, and what do you do that makes you feel used up in a way that you're like not even concerned about the energy exchange or like the financial exchange because you just love doing it? Like those are all such beautiful clues. And so that's that coming home to the mother plant, I think, is a beautiful place to start if you're feeling like a little bit lost.
Coming home to the mother plant. I can't help but see Avatar and Home Tree.
Yeah.
And we're just plugging back into
Yes.
that, that spirit essence of what
Yeah.
actually gives us our nourishment.
Totally. Exactly.
Yeah. So who's been most influential in your life, whether it be authors or, people that you know personally or your parents, who's really been influential in carving you into who you are?
Yeah. I think that when I was in my 20s, I became obsessed with identity because I felt like I didn't have one. And so I started looking to identity systems like Enneagram, Human Design, Myers-Briggs, like all of these identity systems, like anything that would tell me who I am, like I would eat that up.
Me too.
And I still love it to this day. It's so fun learning about yourself and other people through that lens. And I think also it's important to seek out other ways of learning about yourself. That's like you telling yourself about yourself. And so I turned to Simon Sinek, who's like the Find Your Why guy. I loved his books, and I got really into leadership because I was in a leadership role for so many years. So like Diana Chapman and 15 Commitments of Conscious Leadership, and she has a beautiful exercise called, I don't know if she calls it the body compass or if I'm just calling it that, but essentially recognizing how to figure out what is a yes in your body and what is a no. Like when you don't have an identity and you're so concerned about people pleasing and just making sure that everyone else is cool in your environment, I think that's one of the most important things you can do to kind of strengthen your sense of self. And like it just starts with the body, like recognizing that this feels like a no to me and that feels like a yes, and then you can start advocating for yourself. But you can't advocate for what you want, and you can't recognize your edges until you actually learn how to figure out what is a yes and what's a no in your body. So yeah, I went on like a personal development rampage, and yeah.
Same.
Michael Pollan, How to Change Your Mind, and diving into psychedelics. And I got certified as a hypnotherapist. I thought I was going to be a hypnotherapist for a lot of years. And so yeah, I've had a topsy-turvy kind of like self-discovery journey, and it feels good to finally be like coming home to who I really am. Like I feel like I'm actually getting more clear on who I am. And It's funny because I'm in this space where I'm like reflecting back who other people are, but that has not been easy for me throughout my life.
And in you being of service, of course, you're getting the clearest reflections back.
Yeah, truly. That's really accurate. I love that you called that out, because when you are in service, you are like, a lot of people are going to turn to you and say like, hey, you're really good at this. Or I love how you picked up on that. Like, I would never think of that. And that's when you start saying, oh, like that felt really natural to me. I would never think that that's special, but clearly to this other person, that was very meaningful for them. So that's when you start to really find you're recognizing what your real gifts are.
And taking note of that, right? Like actually having a note, like the note that I gave to you just a second ago.
Yeah.
Little reminders. What are your practices for cultivating just a deeper sense of self?
Journaling. I mean, I think being honest with yourself. I love Eric Godsey and all of the, his journaling courses, and starting on your journal page, like if you don't know what to write, just starting with the words, the truth is ... Like I find that often brings up like something that I don't really want to look at, but like I'm going to write about it. So yeah, just being really honest with yourself. I think that's what allows me to continue to reinforce myself and what's meaningful for me, but also being open. Like, I'm still a pretty porous person. I'm still very like empathetic, and I'm still very attuned to the well-being of everybody else in the room. So it's not like I've lost that, but I just, I do take conscious awareness and of how I'm feeling, and meditation is incredible to kind of create that neural pathway too, to notice, because in meditation what we're doing is we're noticing when we have strayed. And so I always thought the goal of meditation was to reach this point of like not thinking, but I've recognized that I think the goal for me, or the payoff for me, is that I'm just better at noticing when I am not being present, and when I'm self-abandoning, or when I'm leaving my body because I recognize something else in the environment, and it's like, okay, no, come back.
Self-abandoning.
Yeah. Self-abandonment is huge, especially for people pleasers. If you're like really interested in making sure the rest of the room is cool, like you kind of forget about what's happening in your own body. And that can happen with performance as well. Like if you're sitting in front of a camera, a lot of people all of a sudden are like not in their body, they're in their minds, and they're thinking about what's going on and what's somebody thinking about me. And so that's me leaving my body and going into your body and wondering like, how do I look? And do I sound smart? And all of those things. And so it's been a process for me to always be like, okay, come home to the body.
I mean, this is hitting me so hard, because I have so many similarities there. And because as I become more sensitive to my own inner energetics, I've also become more sensitive to everyone else's energetics.
Yeah.
And so I do notice there's times that I'll be trading bodies. I didn't even think about it through that lens, but just embodying the way that somebody else feels in that desire to elevate, really, to help them to feel better. But that might not be my role.
Right.
My role is only for what's sovereign for me, and then to be the best ripple effect that I can be.
Exactly. Yeah. I think that's, a lot of people don't even recognize that they're even doing it. And it is in some ways super benevolent. You're wanting to help them. And then in other ways, what I've recognized is sometimes I'm wanting to shift the way that somebody else is feeling about me to protect me. And so it's like that, like it's, you could call it in some instances like manipulation. Like you're trying to like control everyone else in the room. And so it's very difficult if you are wanting people to like you, which I do really like. I want people to like me.
Me too.
It's hard to stay true, because sometimes if you stay true to yourself and you recognize in your body like, oh, I'm not cool with what that person just said, that means that you have to say something that is gonna throw off the energy of the room.
Yes,
and like that sucks, and that's gonna make you uncomfortable. So it's like, do I do that? So yeah, we've gone on this topic of like the people pleaser, and I have definitely been working really hard on recovering from that.
Well, and it totally relates to what you do, right? Because truth can be difficult it can be a hard pill to swallow sometimes.
Yeah.
Right? But every time that I get a very blunt truth, as long as it's shared through the heart, right? I can take it and I can process it and I can handle anything.
Yeah.
But if I feel like I'm being manipulated, being puppeteered and only certain facts are showing up, it's very challenging, because I feel like trust is eroded.
Right. And you don't have the clarity of like what's actually happening, because you don't know what's happening in their minds. And so, yeah, when the truth is present, everything else is, I don't want to use the word easy, because sometimes that means that a relationship is going to come to an end or whatever it is. But at least it's the truth and everyone's clear on what's happening. Like, I feel like the healing can happen a lot easier when the truth is present.
Yeah, the heart always knows the truth.
Yeah.
The truth is measured in energy.
Totally.
Is it pure source signal or is it static?
Yeah.
Yeah, signal to noise ratio.
I love that.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. So
how did we get there?
Humaning. We're pollinating.
Yeah.
That's what I love, is following the threads of what's the most alive, the most exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's the most alive and exciting thing in your world right now?
Honestly, relationship and finding partnership has been like very present in my world, and different people coming in and out of my world, and making decisions like that definitely relates to what we were talking about. Like continuing to check in with the body compass. Like, is this something that I really want? Is this something that I don't want? And it's really tough in relationship, because we're told that we got to find the one. And so there's this like so much pressure to find that one person, and then it becomes this huge, like, everyone you come into contact with becomes this huge decision point where it's like, do I continue to pursue this or do I not pursue this? And that feels like a lot of pressure. So that's been something that I've been working through, and just coming back again, like coming home to self, coming home to what's my truth and what am I actually feeling drawn towards, and what's the difference between the head and the heart.
Absolutely. Yeah, that hits home for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's there's no better mirror than deep, intimate relationship.
Truly. Yeah. And when you've been single for a while, you forget that because you've been in your own energy, which is really good. I think it's nice to have that period. But then when you start to get back into relationships, oh shit, this is this is intense. I have to look at that, and I have to look at that, and all those other things. So
yeah, and there's different models of relating. One of the things that I feel is an outdated model based on the way that I've experienced life is this idea of just pure, this partner that I have must include all of these facets and aspects. They must be emotionally present, spiritually engaged. We share all the same interests. Like, no, that doesn't work. It's too pressurized.
yeah.
And so what I've found as the soul tribe has been growing is that more and more I'm being filled and I'm filling up other people, right? And so the pressure that I would have put historically on a partner has just reduced. And I mean, as a result, I'm a single man. And I feel really, really good about that. Whereas historically, I didn't. It would be like 6 months, maybe a year. And then, okay, I'd have a partnership going on, but it wasn't fully aligned. And so, yeah, in this journey of just discovering thyself, and allowing the threads to be woven, because that's the biggest thing that I'm noticing is that there's guidance systems, there's different spirits, energies, entities, however one, angels, God, however one wants to look at it. There's other forces that are co-creating. And so I know with partnership, the kind of person that I'm calling in is calling me in because we're literally on that same frequency. And so it doesn't matter where in the world, it's going to happen. It's going to be super magnetic when it does. And it's going to be an interdependent relationship.
Right. Yeah. I love what you shared about being in community and being filled up by that community. I think that's so important and something that really parallels my own experience, because I was always kind of like a lone wolf girl and like very independent. Like, I got me and I don't need anybody else. And the reason I moved to Austin from San Diego was because I recognized that, like, when I really looked into my heart and said, what do I want to create in my life? It wasn't so much about the achievements. It wasn't so much about the work or even the partnership. It was about community. That was the one thing that felt like it was like a gaping hole in my life. Like, I had a couple good friends that I could depend on, but like, that doesn't feel very strong. And I just recognized that I could use, like I wanted to rely on other people and I wanted other people to rely on me. And so moving to Austin, I feel that also there's like so many beautiful souls here, and the openness and the yes to actually wanting to gather is so different from anywhere else I've lived before, where everyone is coming together constantly and it's purely just to be together and to support one another and to listen. And like, I think that's hugely important when you're looking for partnership, because when you are out there looking for the one person who's going to be your everything, it puts so much pressure on that decision. And then it puts so much pressure on that person when, if you look at human history, like we were never meant to put everything on one relationship. And so, it does feel a lot more, like I feel more open to my partner actually coming through, because I'm not putting so much pressure on that one person. There are other people in my life who can support me.
1,000%.
Call that out.
Yeah, it's the tribe mentality. You know, actually immersing with tribes like the Yawanao tribe down in Brazil and witnessing the way that they all coalesce as one unit. Mm-hmm. It's an integrated way of being, and there would be counsel. You know, somebody's out of what are the tribe's alignments, there's counsel and there's process and there's eldership and there's rites of passage and all these missing elements. And so, you know, this is so good. This is so good. It's amazing. The more that I've been able to expand my scope to not need it to be someone in any given aspect, the more I'm actually claiming my own sovereignty, mm-hmm. right? And then I actually have something to give and offer, and I become a more curious person instead of projective.
Yeah. And it all comes back to nature. Again, that's that reciprocal, interconnected, like when you are plugging into community, you're doing the same thing that the birds and the bees and the trees are doing. So it's like, that's like, I just feel like nature is the blueprint. And if we ever need guidance, it's like, just go look at nature as a whole and look at your own nature and what you came to this earth with and what you've always been lit up by. And like nature knows the way.
Yeah. And getting our feet in the ground, earthing, swimming in the waters.
Super important.
Yeah, gazing at the sun while it's setting. It's amazing. Yeah. This life is so amazing. Okay, so you moved from San Diego and now you're living in Austin. Mm-hmm. I mean, you want to give somebody a little perspective of what that's like?
Just like the move?
Yeah, I mean, you were on the West Coast, you know, the beautiful oceans, big trees everywhere. It's a very different environment here, but it sounds like your calling here was for a different reason.
Totally different reason. Yeah, I got real. I was journaling on my truth, and the truth was I had been choosing where I wanted to live based on the beauty. And there is something about living by the ocean. Like there is a calmness that comes with that, and the culture of being in the South Bay for a lot of years in LA and North County, San Diego. It's very like, you know, people are just out in the ocean and it shows on their, you know, their energy. But I didn't feel like I felt like everyone gathered for like a yoga class and then would go back to their respective spaces, you know, like I didn't feel that sense of actual interconnected community where everyone was kind of relying on one another and like, okay, what are we doing this week? And so I hopped on do you know Salvador? Oh yeah. Salvador, the mayor of Austin, even though he hasn't lived here that long. My dear, dear brother, Salvador, I had a Zoom call with him and I thought he still lived in LA. And he was like, no, I live in Austin now. And I had been asking myself that question, like, where could I find community? And it was just the light bulb went off. And I was like, okay, I guess I'm moving to Austin. So yeah, making that shift, it was wild. It was definitely like a foundational shift. And I had a spinal injury like when I first got here. So it's been like a total roller coaster since I arrived. But like my mom came out and took care of me after my surgery. And she was like, where'd you get all these friends? Like, you never had this many friends in LA and in San Diego. Like, you've barely been here for 6 months and you know all these people. And I'm like, I know, it's just Austin. Like, it's so
And it's Salvador.
easy. And it's Salvador.
Salvador
So connected.
Salvador, love you, bro. The super connector.
Yeah, so I couldn't be happier in Austin. It's a really beautiful kind of vortex. And yeah, I mean, there's a lot of concrete, highways and whatnot. So it's like the landscape, yes, there's a lot of beauty here in nature too, but it's like you could live in a more beautiful place, but it's like, am I making decisions based on physical beauty, or am I making decisions based on like what my heart needs and how to live aligned with my nature and with nature and be, back to that kind of like reciprocal like essence. Like I wanted to feel that. And I definitely got it here. How long have you been here?
I don't live in Austin. I
live
in
don't?
Louisiana.
That's hilarious.
We just met today.
Yeah. How often do you come here?
A bunch.
Okay.
Yeah, I was just over at Joe Hawley's land.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with the Haven?
I haven't been to Haven yet, but yeah.
Yeah,
I know Joe.
Dear brother of mine. With Jason, him and I lead retreats to Peru. And so we have 3 activations coming up. It's going to be absolutely incredible. And so I spent a lot of time on his land. We're working the land and pouring it in. And we're actually going to be doing more work days out there too. It's exactly what you're describing. It's now a community living project. It's a nonprofit community living project. And so the land isn't even in his name. We just did a podcast yesterday and he talked about this. It's not even in his name. It's been transferred into the trust. The whole idea is that I'm not actually holding on to resources. It's not mine. I'm a steward.
Right.
And like he's actually doing it. And so we're bringing more and more people out to connect with the land and build. Like we laid these 2 giant railroad ties that are bigger than this couch yesterday. And you know how rewarding it feels to just swing the pickaxe and move the land and cultivate and let it breathe. Let it actually, have even more beauty than it already has. And so last night we were just reflecting, just sitting up there. He built a tree house. We were reflecting on he realized this is his art. And his art is in scaling belonging and bringing community together. And so shout out to Joe Hawley, huge torchbearer, one of my dearest brothers.
Scaling belonging.
Scaling belonging.
Just hits in the heart. That's so beautiful. It's amazing what happens when you work with the land. Even just working with a houseplant, like it will totally shift my mood. Like dealing with soil, like getting your hands into soil, I swear it is like if you're dealing with mental health challenges, like garden every day.
Put your hands in the soil and you'll feel no toil.
The best. It's the best thing you could possibly do for your mental health. So that's beautiful to hear that that's happening out there, and can't wait to hear what's to come for that land.
For sure. Yeah, come out. We're going to be doing a bunch of events. So I'm here and there a bunch. And the reason I moved to Louisiana was actually the same thing. It's because the integration of the most beautiful community that I'd been a part of, been going down for years, and seeds were planted, and decided to just like pull the ripcord, move from Dallas down there, and best decision of my life.
Yeah.
It's been amazing. And so I kind of live between here and there at this point, and do a lot of international travel as well, and learning from the best master teachers that I can find, sitting at the feet of the elders, and do my best to humbly bring back whatever it is that I can learn, especially from these heart-based, nature-based cultures. There's so much that we have gained through technology. For example, like your craft, you're able to translate somebody's heart and soul and what they can do to pollinate in this world through these digital mediums. And I love that. It also felt like we got way too top heavy, too of the mind in Western culture. And so I'm really doing my best to bring, the heart wisdom back so that the mind can relax.
Yeah, that is so important. So thanks for getting out there. And yeah, I'm sure it's really humbling to be in the presence of ancient cultures and traditions that have stood the test of time, and to bring it back.
Yeah, the Shaolin people, for example, they had a peace period that lasted 800 years.
Whoa.
Yeah, no hierarchy, no violence. And guess what? They have Wachuma cactus in their hands. All
Shocker.
of the things, right? Shocker, because what is it doing? It's attuning to the highest frequencies of the heart in my experience. And what a lesson, to just tune in and tap in. And this is where community is everything. Like, community is the new currency. Currency is not something that's a digital or a decimal point, right? It's not numerical, it's energy. And if we have a system of money that's been constructed because our tribe got too big to where people didn't know each other and didn't already have a trusted relationship to come and collaborate. And so the system was devised to allow us to scale our co-creations, and it has magically. But the reward system cannot be just of the mind.
Right.
It has to be balanced with the heart.
Yeah. That's rich. Is this what you're talking about? Like, are you teaching this in any way right now, or just on the podcast, or like, are you getting out there and doing public speaking or anything like that? Because I feel like you should.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. Wow. This right now is my main medium, and then personal coaching. And just for me, I'm a community guy.
Yeah.
Like a super connector, the way that Salvador is, and just going to all of these different retreat experiences and activations and festivals, and, just connecting, just vibing with people. And it's like, oh, you're Soul Tribe. Okay, what's up?
Yeah.
And all these communities weaving together. And so part of the way that I show up, I've got God bumps just flowing right now, is I don't tend to like say, okay, I have something to teach, right? It's the subtle things, it's the reflections, it's the curiosity, it's showing up just with deep presence for somebody. And so I'm open to any feedback on that. Yeah.
That's a common thread that I've noticed in the most resonant people, is that they're leading from a space of not wanting anything. It's like not needing to deliver anything. You're just present. And so you're deeply attuned to what is happening in the space, and you're open, and therefore when things come through you, it's almost like things are just being channeled literally through you, because you are this open vessel. Like we were talking about our mutual friend, Christopher Hager, who's an incredible
shout out to my bro, Chris.
Spiritual channel, like just shows up open and listens, and then the wisdom that comes through is incredible. So yeah, keep going.
Thank you. And you too.
Thank you.
One of the things that Chris said on a call we just had about a month ago when I had that drop in with him, he says, my goal is really to help everyone to open their channel fully and allow what it is that wants to come through. So whether that's 1 session or 20, I'm here for it.
Yeah. Yeah. Because we all are capable of that. And I think it's just coming home to the self, coming home to the truth, not self-abandoning, like just allowing yourself to be with yourself and in whatever way that you show up. I was reflecting on like getting in front of the camera and doing a podcast like this. I still get butterflies, but it's like that used to make me totally freeze up, because I was so concerned with what was going to come out of my mouth, which I'm totally doing right now, by the way. And so it's like,
you got this.
It's like coming back into the body and being with myself, and making it known to myself that it's okay, that I'm still going to love myself even if I fuck up. Like, I think that's where we get stuck in performative like disconnection or dissociation, is because we don't have that agreement with ourselves that we're still going to be there to love ourselves if things get wonky. And so it's like, let it be let it be wonky. And then once you have that agreement with yourself, it's like, okay, I can relax a little bit. And big shocker, then all of a sudden you have things coming through, and it's like, yeah, so bringing it full circle.
Yeah, and the self-abandonment piece, it's new language for me, and it's just so resonant. It's so easy to tell when the body is just like, there's so much energy that's flowing through and it feels out of body because I'm concerned about somebody else and like basically trading consciousness. And so that's just been a great North Star to come back to. And we have different ways that we listen and feel. With me, it tends to be a gut feeling, but that's not always the case. What about for you?
I think for me, it's either like a contraction or an expansion. Like if something feels expansive, even if it makes me a little bit nervous, like because I'm scared, because I'm showing up and I'm stepping into what I know is my bigness, and that feels really like cool and scary. Like there's still an expansiveness that I feel to that. Whereas if something is not for me, then I feel this kind of like rounding in the shoulders and sort of like making myself small. That's sort of my body compass.
Okay, noted.
Yeah,
that's a really good one.
There's a great, yeah. Diana Chapman does that exercise on an episode of the Tim Ferriss podcast. So if you look up Tim Ferriss and Diana Chapman, she does it sort of as a meditation, and like thinking back to a time when you were like so yes about something, and it's like, all right, drop yourself into that and then feel what it actually feels like in your body. And then like going to a time when that's not deeply traumatic, but like a time that just felt like a no, like what does that actually feel like in your body?
Love that.
Yeah.
So if you were to give your 16-year-old self some advice, what would you say?
I would tell her to invest in her uniqueness. Like invest time and energy in understanding who she is and what her preferences are and what she's drawn to. Because I think we grow up just thinking that what we love and what we're good at is so easy for everybody, but it's so not. And so, like, I would actually love someday to go into high schools with juniors or seniors and to do a brand identity exercise for individual high school students. I think that would be so transformative and provide such a solid foundation, even if they do want to go out there and explore. Like when you graduate high school, you don't know even what all exists out there. So it's important to go explore, but to understand what is unique about you at the baseline, I think is such a beautiful foundation. And it allows you to love yourself and to recognize that like you are really special and you have something to bring to the world. And how you're going to do that could be in a, multitude of different ways, probably thousands of different ways that you could express your unique essence. So you get to figure that out. But yeah, I would have her start the self-discovery and self-definement journey sooner, and have her invest in and understand that what is natural to her is really, really special.
Beautiful. And then for the listener, if somebody'd like to tap in with you and experience some of your magic, where could they reach out to you?
Yeah, I'm on Instagram. It's Leigh Maneri, LEIGHMANERI. And that's my website too, leighmaneri.com. And I have a free discovery call. So if anyone wants to hop on and just talk shop about like what they're bringing to the world and what they're stepping into. A lot of my clients are at a kind of an inflection point where they're ready to step fully into what they're doing. Like they've been doing it, but they're ready to like really own it. And they want their digital expression to be to be an extension of their essence. And so if you're feeling like you're at that inflection point, I would love to chat and see you.
Awesome. Thank you so much for this conversation, for your heart, for your essence. Thank you for being a pollinator. Thank you for the monarch journey, going through and just taking us on the journey of life. Thank you for being in touch with yourself well enough to know that it's not about the physical place, but it's actually about the people, the community, the tribe that you're weaving with, and, you know, just trusting your yes and trusting your no.
Thank you. And same to you. Thank you for being a pollinator and bringing your essence into the world, and bringing your voice into the world. It's not always easy. So I really appreciate you. And I'm so happy we could do this.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. We'll talk to you guys soon. Peace and love.